Connor, I got a very simple question to ask here. With later on this month, it's 3 weeks away. We're supposed to have the start of college football camp. That can still be an if, not really a when. Is it fair to say that this next 2.5 to 3 week stretch, or even just the whole month of July, even without a single game scheduled, as an industry and as an institution, this is college football's most important month ever?
It's huge, yes. I think it's very, very important in terms of what 2020 is going to look like. And I know it feels like we've been saying that a lot throughout the last 4 months. Like, oh, we're going to know by the end of May, or we're really going to have this thing figured out by June, when it's like, nope, we don't. And it's past the 4th of July, and we still don't know what this is going to look like, just because let's think about how much can change. And if we have teams who are testing and getting, 15 players are coming back positive, and it really looks like, hey, we don't have this thing figured out, and we really don't know a way that we can avoid this because it's just going to continue into the fall, then the idea of a spring season is on the table. And as much as that pains me as somebody who obviously appreciates every single Saturday that we have in the fall, I literally work for Saturday down south. Like, this is our livelihood as well that we're talking about. I think that that's on the table, and I think that anybody right now who is looking at the situation saying we're absolutely playing in the fall, I think is blindly optimistic. And I still come back to the belief that the athletic model is so dependent on football happening, and if we can have this in the spring, there are definitely downsides to it, but it could be worth it in the end. We'd miss out on probably seeing guys like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields if we had a spring season, and that would be a massive bummer. It really would. But if it means, having a season versus not having a season, spring's the only option, I think that they would absolutely take that, and I think that's becoming a more realistic conversation, and it's going to continue in these next couple of weeks.
We're speaking to Connor O'Gara here on Halftime. Connor, one thing we talked a little bit about on Thursday when the news broke before the holiday weekend was the NCAA coming down on Texas A&M, it's particularly Jimbo Fisher with the recruiting violation. I think what we talked about, too, was maybe not necessarily overblown, but it seemed like it was getting a lot of negative feedback, more than probably it should. But I want to focus on Jimbo for a second, because it seems like a lot of this has traveled with him, but I feel like this is the year for him at Texas A&M, and if he doesn't get things moving at A&M and getting off a 7-8 win season and getting up to 9 or 10, how warm do you think his seat will be at College Station if he doesn't get it turned around this season?
Well, Jimbo Fisher doesn't have a hot seat just because when you have $60 million that's still owed to you, it kind of takes you off of that for a while. That's the buyout and what's guaranteed to him is absolutely absurd. But I agree 100% that this is the year for Jimbo Fisher's public perception to really take a turn. And I've been saying throughout this entire offseason that I have major questions about A&M moving forward as a program expected to make that next jump. And everybody's saying that this is the year because it really will not get much more favorable for Jimbo Fisher for a variety of reasons. Everybody's been talking about the schedule. First 10 games of the year, they have one game against a team that won more than 6 games last year, and that's against an Auburn team who, in my opinion, has a lot of questions up front in the trenches where A&M has been behind. That has been the thing that has been separating them from these elite teams in the SEC. And I think that right now you're looking at this team like, okay, well, they have the most experienced returning starting quarterback in the SEC. In an offseason like this one, where we've seen springs wiped out, and really that experience that you have at that position feels like it's going to matter a lot in the fall, I think that's another thing that's working in Jimbo Fisher's favor. You also have the fact that, look, you have the three of the 4 top contenders in the SEC all have a new starting quarterback, and they're dealing with a lot of turnover in that regard. So if you're going to make a jump, this feels like the offseason to do it. But I'm skeptical because, you know what? We're talking about a program that has one top 15 finish in the 21st century. We're talking about a program that had 5 games last year against teams that finished in the top 15, and in those 300 minutes of football, they led for 7 minutes and 42 seconds. I come back to that and think, you know what? I'm not just going to sit here and automatically pencil A&M in for New Year's Six Bowl when I know all of those things. Now, is everything working in their favor? Absolutely. But when you have a story like this that comes out, and if everybody's expecting you to win 10, 11 games, and then you're sitting there with 8 wins or 9 wins at the end of the year, yeah, we're going to question you, Jimbo Fisher, when you got a $75 million contract. That's the nature of the beast in this business. And when you sign an unprecedented deal like that, you're going to get criticism like that, especially when it's with a third-year starting quarterback.
I want to close on a thought. It's a more serious aspect here. I was amazed to see how quick the change in the flag in Mississippi happened after Kylan Hill's announcement. And I don't know if that was a final straw thing or not, but from that point, it felt like a boulder that was rolling downhill that wasn't going to stop. And what really amazed me was seeing pretty much all the coaches, not just from football, but from all the sports at Ole Miss and Mississippi State coming together to advocate with success to get the state to change this flag. And I was moved by it.
I absolutely thought that was just amazing to watch unfold. And Kylan Hill, a lot of people are going to sit here and say, all the kid did was send out a tweet. I come back to the belief that we were going to hold Kylan Hill accountable for something like that. It wasn't just going to be something that was like a nice headline for a week and then we forgot about it. I mean, dude said he wasn't going to play, and he's a senior, and he's a running back at a very expendable position when, you know what, they're kind of a dime a dozen. And if you watch your draft stock fall, you're missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. We've seen how people like Colin Kaepernick have been blackballed in the NFL, and that's not to say that Kylan Hill did everything and he's the sole reason that change was that change ultimately happened in Mississippi. But dude deserves a lot of credit for being willing to recognize his place, because I think it matters that he's the best player returning in the state of Mississippi. And it's different than if a walk-on offensive lineman says that. I mean, let's be honest. If a walk-on offensive lineman says that, every fan in the country writes him off and is like, yep, all right, well, don't play then. We don't really care. But when the star running back comes out and says that, you're like, whoa, all right, this is somebody who grew up in the state of Mississippi, grew up down the road in Columbus, and this is significant. And you see the way that action happened so quickly after that, how quickly both coaches, both Ole Miss, you had Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Southern Miss, all of their athletic directors getting involved in all of this. It was progress, and it was something that it's, at a time like now, it's just a reminder of these times things can happen in a hurry, and Kylan Hill was willing to take a stand for something that he believed in and do something that ultimately resulted in a significant change that we're forever going to look back on this and be like, wow, I can't believe a college kid stepped up and did that. These are very much unprecedented times in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely. Definitely a topic that we've been touching on, you and me, for the last few weeks, and we'll continue with that moving forward. Connor, appreciate the time, man. Have a great week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. I got to go get some fried chicken now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's just made you really hungry, I'm pretty sure. By the way, great fried chicken, Buffalo Wild Wings. And Buffalo Wild Wings is sponsoring our free grocery giveaway at hitthatline.com. Just go to the website, top of the page, you'll see the free groceries link. And all you got to do is enter your email, your first and last name, and you're entered for a chance to win free groceries for a year, up to $4,800, plus additional $500 gift cards from Buffalo Wild Wings across the state. Couple of more days to enter, and it's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Cooking is hard, delivery is easy, and you can order takeout or delivery at BuffaloWildWings.com or through the new Buffalo Wild Wings app. Award-winning wings, over 24 sauces and seasonings, delivered hot, fresh, and straight to your house from DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats, subject to availability. We'll come back right after this quick break.